Hello, my name is Mark, and I thank you so much for coming by today. If you've ever seen my videos before, you may have heard that greeting at the beginning of the video, "Hello, my name is Mark, and I thank you so much for coming by today." Well, that's not just a generic placeholder to introduce the video, it's an intentional salutation to say thank you for coming by and taking your time to watch my video. Because we all have time to spend, and if you're coming to spend your time watching something that I'm presenting, then I am extremely grateful for that because you don't have to. You could just ignore this and just keep moving on. But for whatever reason, you've chosen to tap into this video and check it out. And as I say in the comments, if you've ever left a comment before, I generally thank people for taking the time to watch, and that I'm grateful for the feedback, especially because that takes even more time. So yes, I thank you very much for coming by today, because that's what we're talking about, is the benefits of gratitude, especially for creatives. Because I know for me, from my early years as a kid, I was not grateful. I was not a grateful kid. Even though my parents raised us to appreciate and be grateful for what we had and not get upset about what we didn't have, I was still not a grateful kid. I wanted things that other people had. Other kids had cooler clothes than me. Other kids drove better cars than me. And I wanted that. I wanted more attention. I wanted more stuff because I didn't know how to appreciate what I had as a kid. I wanted more. I wanted better. I wanted different. And even though my parents made a modest living, they were both teachers, I didn't understand why we couldn't afford certain things. And so it took life experience to understand, oh, that's why my parents didn't have money to buy me a brand new, sports car or something. That we had to have a hand-me-down jalopy. And even though I went to school with a guy who drove an IROC Z28, it was a beautiful, beautiful Camaro, I didn't have that opportunity. I had to take the car that was handed down from my brother, and it was held together with duct tape, and it was not a pretty car, but you know what? It got me where I needed to be. And I think that was when I started to realize how grateful I was, because I remember when that car broke down one time and I had to ride my bike to work, and it was very long and arduous to get to work, especially when it rained. And I had to ride that bike to work. And I realized, geez, I miss having a car. I was very fortunate to have a car. And when I got the car back again, I was so grateful I didn't have to ride a bike. So that was probably the beginning of my journey on gratitude. And that's, again, what we're talking about today, is the benefits of gratitude. Now, how does that apply to creative people in the creative life? Well, I'm grateful because, one, I have this YouTube channel and people come to watch it. I never thought that was going to happen. I thought that when I created this channel, it was going to have maybe 5 people watch it and that was it. But lo and behold, a few people have come in and chimed in and watched the videos and commented. And after 8 years, this is what I have now. There's a community out there, and I'm part of that community. I was always grateful to watch other people on YouTube and watch other people's videos and learn and understand and find out about products and techniques that I never knew about. And there was all kinds of reviews and demonstrations. For me, I found that there wasn't a lot of people talking about the more cerebral stuff, the emotional stuff, the stuff that goes behind the stuff that goes on behind the artist in their brain. And that's what I wanted to know more about. Not so much science or medical, but just kind of the feelings and the sensitivities that artists share that no one really talks about. So in the experiences I've had in the creative field, I've been in the creative field for many years, and through my personal experiences, I started bringing that to this channel, and I think that may be what some people like. And my artwork is a unique style, and some people like that. So whatever it is that brings people to this channel, I come from the place of being a viewer, and I'm grateful to have had that experience. Now I'm grateful for having the experience of being someone who presents content, and other people come to watch it, and they like it, and they comment on it, and some people don't like it, and they comment on it too. But either way, I'm just grateful for this opportunity. So without further ado, let's get into the benefits of gratitude, because the number one benefit of gratitude is promoting a positive lifestyle. And for artists, that means approaching our work with a positive attitude, because if we go into our work with a negative attitude and we're not grateful for the opportunity to be creative or the fact that we are creative people, then we lose sight of those opportunities and the positivity that comes out of it. And what I mean by that is, I think some people just kind of don't recognize that they are creative, for better or for worse, whether your skills are professional or just somebody just starting out. The fact that there's an interest there to be creative is huge. And we should be recognizing that creative spirit that's in us. And if we don't, we're missing that opportunity to engage in a positive lifestyle, a positive creative spirit that is going to impact us greatly, because there's so many great things about creating art. The stress relief, the dopamine rush to the brain, all that stuff. And sharing our work on Instagram or social media, that takes it to another level. So what we can do is promote a positive lifestyle in all areas of our life. And that will always come back to our artwork, from diet to exercise to all the things we do on the daily basis, to trying to be more positive and more happy about the fact that we can then turn to our creativity. So promoting a positive lifestyle toward creativity is a huge benefit to being grateful. And I know for me, I never really thought about it when I was younger. I just drew pictures and I like drawing. But now when I look at the fact that I can sit down and draw a picture, and even if it's not a very good picture, I just had the opportunity to be creative. And I love that. I love the fact that I can just sit down, do a drawing. Nobody's judging me because it's for me and nobody else. And I have that ability to be positive for myself. Number 2 is to promote good decision making. Now, when we talk about our diet, we talk about, okay, I want to eat healthy, I want to exercise, I want to drink more water. Those are all good decisions that lead to other good decisions, because when we make good decisions for our body, we then make better decisions because we're more clear-headed and we want to keep that feel good going on forward. So if we're feeling good about eating right, then we make a better decision about exercising more. And then when we exercise more, we feel better about the things that we do, and we want to be more creative, and it sort of just keeps itself going. In contrast, if we decide to start eating negatively, meaning junk food or fast food or something, then it's going to make us feel lousy. And when we feel lousy, then we make poorer decisions, and we're going to make poor decisions about our art. We're going to get lazy, we're going to get critical, and negativity kind of breeds itself. Number 3 is celebrating the moment. We all hear the same, that cliche phrase of stop and smell the roses, but there is so much truth in that. And I have learned that in my adult life, to celebrate the moments. I remember raising 2 children, and it was tough because I wouldn't really celebrate the moments. I was always looking at the next moment ahead, kind of like a chess game, like what's next? What do I have to do next? What's the next task at hand? And trying to work full time and raise kids, I didn't appreciate those finer moments. And I think a lot of parents always wish they could go back in time and redo what they did. Anybody who says I did everything perfectly, I think that's a very rare thing, and I don't think there's many people who were perfect parents. But for most of us, to be able to look at our children and say, geez, I wish I could go back, and I wish I had been more patient in this situation. I wish I had done things differently. There's a lot of what ifs in life. And if we go down the rabbit hole of what ifs, then we're never going to learn and grow. We're always going to dwell on what already happened. So celebrating the moment, being right here, right now, from the moment we wake up in the morning and put our feet on the floor, if we can celebrate the moment of life, of what we're doing, for me, painting a picture here, and just celebrating that moment, and that we have this positive, just creative energy flowing out of us, it's a really great thing. I know at work, when I heat up my lunch in the middle of the day, I don't really think about, wow, this is like, I'm going to celebrate this moment of, punching the buttons on the microwave. But when I sit down with my food and I say a little prayer to myself and I think, I am really grateful to have this food right here, right now, because I know if I didn't have it, I would be hungry. And there are hungry people in the world who don't have this opportunity to have food. There are people who don't have jobs and can't afford food. So I better darn well be grateful to have this job, to have this food, and to have this moment to recognize that I have this food. So celebrating the moment is a huge benefit of gratitude. Number 4, gratitude helps stave off toxicity. It helps keep the negativity out of our system, because when we aren't grateful, then we can be arrogant, we can have this need for attention, we can have this entitlement or vanity, or we can just kind of dwell in self-importance. And I know we all have these capabilities, but if we can just, again, celebrate the moment and appreciate our creativity and what we have going for us, then we can stave off those negative kind of things and emotions and feelings, and we can bring in the more positive. And that goes back to number 1, promoting a positive lifestyle. Toxicity can be contagious too. If we have a negative attitude toward things, we can pass that along from person to person. Just like a positive attitude. If we're positive, we can pass that on to other people, and that's a great thing. But if we're feeling toxic inside because we're not appreciative of what we have and the life we're living, then that toxicity bleeds out into everything we do. Number 5, gratitude improves your overall health. And I really, really believe that. The more grateful we are, the more we appreciate what we have and where we are in our life, will actually benefit our health and make us feel better, whether it's diet, exercise, all that, especially with our art. Because if we're feeling good, we're going to produce better artwork. If we're feeling bad, our artwork is going to suffer. And that's a huge benefit. So if we're grateful for the things in life, it is a good start to being better with our overall health. Number 6, gratitude improves resiliency. So when the negative things happen, we can bounce back quicker and more easily. So in life, if someone cuts you off in traffic, if we're not a grateful person, then we can dwell on the negative fact that somebody cut us off, and we can drive for miles with that anger and just, frustration of traffic. But if we can be grateful that we didn't get in a car accident, or we didn't run off the road or something, or this incident didn't escalate to something worse, if we can recognize those moments, then we can be grateful. Now with art, if we are grateful and feeling positive and we have good decisions going for us and we celebrate the moments, then we can go into our studio or our creative space and we can produce artwork that makes us feel good. Now, if that artwork starts to take a turn and it gets all muddied up, or it's not the way we wanted to draw it or create it, sometimes if we're not feeling healthy or grateful, we can get angry or frustrated or annoyed and want to just tear it up and throw it away. I used to see that with a lot of young students where they would get frustrated with their artwork. But when we're grateful for the opportunity to be creative and say, you know what, this is not going the way I wanted it to go, we can be more resilient in coming at it and saying, you know what, let me rework it, or let me start over, and I really want this to go better. So we can be more resilient and open to being more adaptable to when things go wrong creatively. Number 7, gratitude improves self-image. Again, with the diet, when we eat poorly, we feel poorly about ourselves. We look in the mirror and we say, God, my body's not the way I want it to be. My skin isn't the way I want it to be. How do I get this back? When we eat healthy, we see the results rather quickly too. So I know for me with intermittent fasting, if I go for a period of time, a long period of time, and watch what I eat every day, I will lose weight and I'll feel better about myself, and that trickles into everything else as well. So with self-image, if we practice our artwork and we're grateful again for those opportunities to be able to practice and to have the right tools to practice with, then we will have a better self-image of ourselves as artists. again, being healthy and more positive and making good decisions all play a factor. But if we just take the time to make sure we're doing things the way they should be done, planning out our drawing, planning out our painting, getting everything set up properly and not rushing, then we will have a better artistic self-image and we'll feel better about the artwork we're creating. Number 8, gratitude improves sensitivity. I know for me that I have a lot of really great art supplies that I'm grateful to have. I really am, because I didn't have these when I was a kid. I had really cheap stuff. So I remember I'm sensitive to the fact that there are young artists out there, especially, or people just starting out, who don't have really good supplies. So I'm grateful for what I have. But I remember as a teacher, I also had a student, I'll never forget her, because she was very frustrated about her artwork and she wasn't performing up to what she thought she could do with watercolors. She was using a really cheap set of student grade watercolors that her parents gave her. So one day I brought in my Daniel Smith set, a really nice set of paints, and I said, here, I think you really should try this. And I let her have it for the day and she kind of went off. And she came back to me later and she was just so grateful and excited to know that she wasn't a bad artist. It was the quality of the paints that she had been using. And so me being sensitive enough to recognize this person needed somebody to just inspire and help a little bit and be sensitive enough to say, here, try this. This is really good stuff. You should try this. And it worked. And I saw this person transform into an amazing artist once they convinced their parent to say, hey, I really need some good supplies. I can't use these cheapo supplies anymore. I really need something better. And that person went on to be a really, really good artist. Not great, not the most amazing artist, but a really good artist because the confidence went through the roof once somebody was sensitive enough to take the time to recognize it. Number 9, gratitude can improve relationships. Now, right here, right now, I'm presenting this video. This is a video about gratitude. And if you're watching, you're going to take something away from this video, this conversation. And that's kind of the point of it. So right there, we're building a bridge between our relationship, you and me. And I love that. I love the fact that my communication being put out there is being taken in by you, the viewer. And you can then feed it back to me in the comments below, which if you have comments, please share below because I'd love to hear your take on this subject. But it also improves relationships with others both online and offline. If you're an artist, you can be grateful to be going to a gallery show where you're going to meet other artists and you can have conversations and build relationships. Online, you can post your work, and when somebody responds to it, you can be grateful enough to respond back to them and then follow them and follow their art journey, and then you have a connection between two people. Those relationships are huge and make a huge impact. I had a person at work recently who came in late and was flustered and had some things going on, and I saw that when they came into work, and I saw them in the hallway, and I said, I am so happy you're here. It is so good to see you. And they just kind of stopped and took a deep breath and dropped their shoulders and said, thank you. That really just made me feel a lot better. And I said, you know what? Have a great day or something like that. And we went on and just had our day. But I could tell that improved the relationship because I was sincerely grateful that they were able to come to work safely, and they were there. So that really made a difference for them, and it made a difference for me. And it improved the relationship, which I know that they would take on to the next relationship. And lastly, number 10, gratitude improves our skills and abilities, because if we go back through the list, if we promote a positive lifestyle, make good decisions, celebrate the moment, keep the toxicity away, if we improve our health and we are resilient and we have a good self-image and we're sensitive and we have good relationships, all that good stuff is going to create really positive brain chemistry. It's going to get the chemicals in our brain firing and the synapses. I'm no doctor, so I don't know the terms, but it's going to make us feel really good. And when we feel really good, we put that into our artwork, and our skills are going to be heightened. Our awareness is going to be heightened. Our confidence is going to be heightened. All our skills and abilities are going to go upward when we have gratitude, because we are grateful for the opportunity we have to create, the fact that we can create, and the fact that we have places to exhibit what we create online or in galleries or wherever. And the fact that all these things come together and we can then improve our skills and improve our artwork, especially if we practice more and we have the opportunities to practice. And again, if we're grateful for all these things. Well, I can't say it enough. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm grateful that I'm here. And I have one more opportunity to make a video and just say thank you to anyone who watches this and can feedback to me or just even click that like button. That's always a benefit. But for me, I'm grateful to be able to just present this video, to be able to talk about a subject like being grateful. I try to be grateful in my life. I try to raise my children, even though they're grown now. I still try to impress the idea of being grateful and to never take for granted the things that we have, because we could lose them in the blink of an eye. Things can change on a dime. So without getting negative, stay positive, stay happy, stay joyful in your creative journey, and let your creative spirit breathe. And that's all this is about, is just taking a moment to say, wow, I'm very fortunate to be the person I am. Whether there's good things in life or bad things in life, we all have stuff going on. But to recognize the good things that are going on, that's where it's important. And that's where promoting that positive lifestyle and having good overall health and just having a good self-image can boost everything so much. And we don't have that arrogance, that need for attention, the entitlement, the self-importance, or the vanity, because that's what comes when we don't have gratitude. So again, I am grateful that you stopped by today for this conversation. I hope you took something from it. I hope it was worth watching. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I'd love to bring you more content like this in the future. I hope you're being creative. I hope you're grateful for your life, and I hope you're having a great life. Again, thank you. And as always, God bless.